all fired up for sports, and it is the day, well, the morning after what happened somewhere in Cote d'Ivoire as the eagles attempt to flap their wings over the elephants. Let's get into it. Good morning, Tega.
Good morning, Omatseye. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Thank God it's Friday. Okay, so first off,
God, it's
I,
Friday.
I'm just going to say that elephant is not such a great animal. You know, the one in England
Oh,
just fell from the top of the tree, and then the one in Cote d'Ivoire was pecked off by an eagle. I don't understand why anybody wants to be an elephant right now. But we'll be touching on what's happening in the African Cup of Nations um, first things, and then we'll go to Australia, where some really big names have fallen by the wayside, especially in the women on the women's tennis tour. There's Premier League this weekend, though, contrary to popular opinion. So we'll be touching on that just a little bit, and then
Wimbledon's
we'll go to the
enjoyment.
Italian Serie A, and we'll see how we can go. But first of all, before we do all of that, Omashaye, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room?
To be part of the locker room this morning, that if there will be therapy, then it just means you only would send messages to the WhatsApp platform on 0809 444 will be where we like to read your messages. Once again, 0809 444 WhatsApp messages. And for the landlords of YouTube, we know them, but then we always advise you to also go there so you can catch past edition of the locker room and also be part of this conversation. Leave your message there, and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. Tega, with that.
All right, so let's start with the headlines first, and then we'll take the story from Cote d'Ivoire.
On the bill this morning, Super Eagles claw the elephants to boost AFCON hopes as golf waltz into Australian Open fourth round, as Atletico defeat Real Madrid and Barca scrape past third-tier rivals in Copa, as Xavi backup face tough test at Real Betis. There would also be Salah off injured in first half of Ghana's clash. Then comes Juve, the old lady, playing cops and robbers with Inter as Roma begin the Rossi's era. And there would be Jordan Anderson, Ajax sign England's midfielder from Saudi club Al Eltifaq. And of course, Mikel Arteta finally received good news in Arsenal's boost ahead of Crystal Palace.
So all of this on the locker room today, but quickly, we have to run to Cote d'Ivoire because on the back of this story, there is 20,000 naira for two people. Yes, two people today because Super Eagles won. All right, so let's take this story and we'll talk about that immediately after the story.
All right, pay mind to that money coming at the back of this story. Once again, I'm your friend and you're paying your tithe. Okay, let's move on to this. Nigeria edged out Ivory Coast a goal to nil in the 2023 African Cup of Nations Group A match played at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium in Abidjan on Thursday evening.
So this was the match that people were talking about. Everybody was worried about the Super Eagles, especially after their performance, in the World Cup qualifiers where they drew with countries that we shouldn't be, well, on paper, drawing with. And then they get to the first match of the African Cup of Nations against Equatorial Guinea, and they drew again. And so a lot of questions were asked about, the Super Eagles. Can they really do it again and, bring back the trophy home after the one in 2013? And so it even seemed a more daunting task when they were facing the hosts, Cote d'Ivoire. And to remember, the Super Eagles had never defeated Ivory Coast on Ivory Coast soil. And so it was always going to be a tough task ahead. And the match was everything but. It was not a clinical or classic match. There were too many stops. There were a lot of fouls, misplaced passes here and there by both sides. A lot of people say, oh, Nigeria got the result, but they're not impressed with the play. This is the group stage. At this point in time, 3 points is all that matters. So the Super Eagles get on the pitch. Yes, the passes were not there. Some people even question maybe the lineup, and everybody was looking towards star boy Victor Osimhen to finally, make his mark at this tournament. He's still questionable so far with the scoring of the goals, but the Super Eagles did the job they needed to do, which was get on the pitch, make sure they didn't concede, and then try to get a goal. And then a goal came for Nigeria after Victor Osimhen was fouled. And Trustekong, the captain of the Super Eagles, stepped up, put the ball in the back of the net, and they were able to hold that until the end of the match, despite the fact that the referee added 9 minutes. I don't know where the 9 minutes came from. I don't know if the 9 minutes is bonus for hosting the African Cup of Nations, or if their hope died on the field and they were doing the funeral rites. I don't understand where the 9 minutes came. But
I like
somehow,
the way you put this thing across. You say the game that we'll be watching since morning.
I'm telling you, they not added 9 minutes from nowhere. Despite the 9 minutes, the Super Eagles of Nigeria still managed to hold on and come away with all 3 points. So what it is right now, the Super Eagles is they're on 4 points. Equatorial Guinea are also on 4 points. Cote d'Ivoire is on 3, and Guinea-Bissau is on 0. So at this point in time, Super Eagles have not yet qualified. I have to reiterate, Super Eagles have not yet qualified. They still have to perform against Guinea-Bissau, and then we'll know where they qualify.
Do we need calculators at this point?
No, we don't need calculator. We have sent it to our brothers in Ghana. Let them hold the calculator for a while. They are the ones who need calculator. But we don't need a calculator. Once I think ultimately it seems like regardless we could qualify from the group as third best losers, but you do not want to qualify in that tricky place. So go out there, beat Guinea-Bissau, top the group, and then take the easier match that is coming. That's what the Super Eagles need to do in their final match. Now, speaking of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, I told you we had 20,000 naira to give away.
Money.
And here's where the money comes in from. So Stanbic IBTC, a member of Standard Bank Group, has taken the bold steps to ensure that the Super Eagles of Nigeria wins at the ongoing African Cup of Nations taking place in Cote d'Ivoire. Now, Stanbic IBTC and the NFF signed a partnership that saw Stanbic IBTC as the official insurance partner of the Super Eagles. And they are not just doing great for the Super Eagles, they also want to do great for the Super Eagles fans. And so they're giving away 20,000 naira to some lucky fans. Now, here is how you get to win. All you need to do is answer this my very easy question. Very easy. I'm not even going to ask hard questions. Very simple questions. Now, the first 2 correct answers will walk away with 20,000 naira. Are you ready for my questions? All right. So, fastest fingers. The question is, what time did Nigeria score the penalty against Ivory Coast yesterday? What was the time on the clock when what minute did Nigeria score the penalty against Ivory Coast yesterday? The number to send your messages to are
0809-444-0981, 0809-444-0981. And then you can also reach down to YouTube too to see if we can get that on youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos.
All right, so quick one. So you also, in order to get this money, you also need to download the Stanbic IBTC mobile app and open an e-wallet, because that's where the money will be transferred to. So quick question, quick. What minute did Nigeria score their penalty against Cote d'Ivoire? All right. So Omatseye, any answers coming up?
Your answers are there already waiting. The answers we got in already, and we see one winner already from.
No, just read the answers so far.
I have seen some 55, I've seen 58, I've seen 53.
The correct answer was 55. So the first 2 55 answers, Nigeria scored their penalty in the 55th minute of the match. So the first two 55 answers you saw, call out their names.
All right, we'll pick one from WhatsApp and then also give our YouTube family also a chance to be part of it. I see Metro Central 55 minutes here.
Okay.
And that's
And
on
then,
YouTube. And then I see Zicolo also is here. Zicolo's message is Zicolo on WhatsApp.
All right. So Zicolo and Metro Central,
Yes.
please send your full names and your phone numbers to our WhatsApp platform, and we'll be reaching out to you on how to get your money. But yes, the correct answer was the 55th minute. That was when Trust Ekong scored Nigeria's penalty, which turned out to be the winner. Remember, again, you have to download the Stanbic IBTC app and open an e-wallet, because that's where we'll be paying the money to. Congratulations to both of you. Hopefully there'll be more money coming in. All right, let's go to Australia and let's see what's happening in Australia.
All right, let's keep things open as we head into the Opens now to see what it's looking like. US Open champion Coco Gauff is into the fourth round of the Australian Open on Friday, demolishing fellow American Alicia Parks.
This was a tough one. Now, Alicia Parks had done her best. She's trying to climb up the rankings, and she's been playing brilliant tennis. Unfortunately for her, she meets this immovable force for now, called Coco Gauff, who's also from America and who won the US Open just at the end of last season. So in great form. And Coco Gauff completely destroyed her. You have to remember, Coco Gauff has been playing brilliantly so far at the Australian Open. Not a lot of people have been able to get a look into her game. In fact, I think when she won the last time out, she wrote, "I'm still looking good" on the camera. So that's how great she's been. Also, fortunately for Alicia Parks, she faced a Coco Gauff that is in great form, and there was no way she was going to get the win. But in the women's draw, the names that have fallen, my goodness. So I forgot to mention that Ons Jabeur was the first name to fall, and in a very dramatic fashion.
And Riva, yeah, I saw that
Yes,
game.
she fell against Mira Andreeva. I actually mentioned it in the headlines, but I forgot to mention it in the story. So she was the first to fall, and her conqueror, Mira Andreeva, also won early hours of this morning. So the girl is still going tall and strong.
How old is she? 15 or thereabout?
16. Yeah. And next big name to fall again was Jessica Pegula yesterday. Jessica Pegula fell, and I couldn't believe the thump that she fell. And just when I was recovering from Jessica Pegula falling, Rybakina also crashed out against Blinkova. I was just like, what is happening here? So on the women's draw, it's like I always say, it's a wild, wild west out there. After Jessica Pegula fell, Iga Swiatek was on court too, and she struggled. In fact, she was 2 breaks down in the third set. She just fought her way back and was able to survive. She won 5 games in a row and was able to survive and stay in the tournament. But if not, they're not looking at anybody's face in that WTA. No. No grief for anybody. That's the theme. So it's been a tough one. On the men's side, pretty much same old. The usual suspects are there. Medvedev was the closest that looked like he was going to crash out when he went 2 sets down, but he managed to fight back, and he was able to win his match at 3:40 a.m. last night. 3:40 a.m. Sorry, it's not in the night again. It's morning now. 3:40 a.m. is morning. That's when he finished his match. And I've already seen him come out for warm-up. God knows if I finish my match at 3:40 a.m., people will not see me till the next day. But he was already out for training again this morning. So Australian Open looking good so far. Let's see how it pans out for the big names. Djokovic plays today, so let's see how it turns out for him.
All right. If you just joined in, you're listening to the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1 FM. We see messages also coming in. If you like to react to any of the stories that Tega is giving us post-mortem on, or probably analyzing for us this morning, we'd like to see them come over to 0809 4440981 as WhatsApp messages, or you can reach down to our YouTube. It's a growing community there, and the camaraderie I see on our YouTube page is simply enviable, I think. So just go over to youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. We'll be back shortly. So Tega,
I'm with you.
okay, you want messages? So when we come back,
when we come back, let's do some messages and then we'll go into the next story. Messages first.
You need to be giving out money every day. See the lineup of messages waiting for you. Oh, Tega, I don't know how you're going to do this. This thing you started, you better keep it up. Oh. Ah.
It's Stanbic IBTC that started it.
Right. No, I'm good. Let's see. I'll just try WhatsApp. I'll just pick up messages.
Pick. You know what? You come back with 4 from WhatsApp.
Okay.
Maybe 3 from YouTube.
Okay, noted. That's okay. That works. Please speak with our business concierge on 0700 77 684 387 or email businessconcierge@providentbank.com to switch to a future forward banking experience. Provident Bank, future forward banking. One experience into a world of casino games of pretty unique experience with a net and simply playing option side, live-winning combination with short and get the jackpot. Discover much more games for one experience now. One experience from Casino Energy and get the World Cup package up to 700,000 naira. 150 FPS. Make it better for the casino and the energy. Everyone, watching one experience. It is still the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. Still getting lots of messages coming in. Tega, how are you going to keep up this? Whatever you're doing this morning, it seems you should do it every day. You should give out money every day right now. The messages keep pouring in.
Let's take those messages and see what they have to say. Let's take the messages.
Okay. Where do I start? Okay. Let's go to a message coming in from Leon Taiwo from Ojo Alaba saying, well, the great Super Eagles have proved all Nigerians wrong and all who criticize Coach Pesero. Good job done. Arsenal must triumph this week. And that's from that message there. I see all those who sent 58, 53, 55. Well, campaign after elections have the result announced already. Moving on to other issues now. Let's pick up, who do we find? Okay, Sam from, Sam is still on that. Okay, while they're still at this money issue, let me just, okay, bonus message is waiting. Please, what's the, okay, I'll get back to that shortly. So let's go to YouTube. They're still all about this money thing. I see a message there. It's still about the money too and the camaraderie, sportsmanship. I see Padre Pio congratulating Metro Central. That's what, when you win, the other congratulate the other. So that's what it is. So far, Tega, that's all we can pick up for now.
Let's take the next stories and see how we go from there.
So Atletico, Antoine Griezmann and Rodrigo Raquel, extra time strikes earned Atletico Madrid a 4-2 win over rivals Real Madrid and passage to the Copa del Rey quarterfinals on Thursday.
All right, so tough one, revenge carried out, revenge, because remember in the Super Cup in Saudi Arabia, it was Real Madrid who defeated, Real Madrid that defeated Atletico Madrid by 5-3. I remember that game. Real Madrid will score one, Atletico Madrid will reply, Atletico Madrid will score, and Real Madrid will respond. Eventually, Real Madrid was able to take that by 5-3. And I remember when Carlo Ancelotti was complaining, I don't want to be facing Atletico Madrid, because even when I win, I'm losing energy. So yesterday was another such battle. So this time, after the Super Cup defeat and the Super Cup victory for Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid faced Real Madrid again in the Copa del Rey. This time it was Atletico Madrid that came out tops, winning 4-2. Again, another solid battle. And that's why, Carlo Ancelotti was complaining. It's so draining because the rivalry between both clubs is so strong that, both teams are not ready to give up any winnings, and nobody wants to come out on the back foot. They need bragging rights even much more sometimes than the victory itself. But yesterday, Atletico Madrid did the job and did the damage, and they've been able to knock out Real Madrid from the Copa del Rey. Now, just when we're getting over that battle, Barcelona started their battle. This time, Barcelona has been struggling. But the team they were struggling against was what was baffling, and they had to make a comeback in order to win that game yesterday. So at least they managed to come out with the results yesterday. But congratulations to both them and Atletico Madrid through to the next round.
That takes us straight to Xavi Hernandez and his wounded Barcelona side visit Real Betis on Sunday in La Liga, still dusting themselves down from last weekend's humbling Real Madrid outing.
Yes, so it's a tough one because there are rumors that the players are not very happy with Xavi Hernandez. That the locker room is a bit divided. Not this locker room, their locker room is a bit
Tega, I see what you
their
did
locker
there.
room is a bit divided, and the players no longer have faith in him and all of that. And so he had come out to say earlier on that, look, if the players say that he should leave, then he will leave. He doesn't have time to battle, but I doubt that's what will happen. However, there are grumblings that the results are not coming as they should, and maybe Xavi Hernandez has run his course after winning the La Liga title last year. They are fourth in La Liga, and they're not looking like they're getting any results soon. So it becomes a tougher task even this weekend, where they face a Real Betis side who are a tough opponent to beat on any day. Not to talk of at a period where Barcelona are struggling to get results. So it's a tough task, but I feel like if Xavi Hernandez doesn't get the results against Real Betis, then we may start to actively be talking about his sack because it's coming.
All right, let's go back to the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire, where Salah, the Egyptian captain Mohamed Salah, went off with an injury late in the first half of his team's Nations Cup campaign against our brothers Ghana on Thursday.
All right, that was a good one. That was a fantastic one. If you didn't watch any match yesterday, that was a match to watch. Despite the hat trick earlier on from Ntue, the first half trick in a long while in the Africa Cup of Nations, despite the titanic battle between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire, the match yesterday that gave us maximum entertainment was Egypt versus Ghana. Now, immediately after Nigeria won their match, a lot of Nigerians had started to sharpen their knives for the Black Stars of Ghana. That look, if you don't win, you are finished. Some people had brought out their pots, they have set firewood and stove. They're like, we're going to cook you. And so Ghana was already under pressure from the fact that they've lost their first match, under pressure that, the country, the fans of the country are not very hopeful, or they don't believe in pursuing their manager. Not only that, they had traveled just across the border from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire, so they were there in their numbers. That was enough pressure. The Black Stars needed to deliver, and it looked like they were going to deliver because they came in with a different level of intensity and urgency to play against Egypt. And just when Egypt was trying to break Ghana down, Mo Salah picked up an injury. Now, that injury did not only happen in Cote d'Ivoire, it resounded all the way to Liverpool in England. Because Mo Salah is one of the key players, and for him to pick up an injury at a tournament that they were hoping that he'd just go to and come back to get them results, maybe something that they'll be looking into. But he picked up an injury, it looks like a muscle injury. And if it is a muscle injury, I'm not sure he'd be fit in time to play against Cape Verde. So that's a tough one for Egypt. However, let's go back to the match. So after he picks up his injury, just literally a few seconds later, Kudus Muhammad of West Ham United scored a brilliant goal for Ghana to put them ahead, and that was it. Laid down the gauntlet, and then Egypt came out in the second half looking for an equalizer. They got the equalizer, and whilst they were still celebrating the equalizer, they have not finished dancing. Oh, Ghana took the ball and went to score it at the other end. Again, Ghana was really hungry. There was urgency, there was intensity. Unfortunately, what Ghana was doing in the attack, the defense did not get the memo, because as soon as Ghana scores a goal, their defense will find a way to give away another cheap goal. So a lot of defensive questions that the Ghanaians have to ask themselves, because yes, the first goal by Kudus was brilliant, but the mistake that was made in the Ghana's defense for both goals is something that begs a question. How can you be a professional footballer and make such schoolboy errors? So really tough one for Ghana. They are now on 1 point. And they have to find a way to win against Mozambique in order to qualify for the next round. And for Egypt too, we'll have to find some winning formula, because they haven't been brilliant so far. I will say this, however, Egypt looked a better team without Mo Salah. I'm not saying they looked a better side without Mo Salah, but they looked a better team without Mo Salah, because as soon as he went out, everybody else put their hands to the plow and delivered. But if he were on the pitch, they'd all just be passing the ball to him without doing the heavy lifting. So,
well, it appears that those defenders in the Ghanaian defense lineup would have to go to the principal's office for scolding, but let's leave them to that. Let's go over to Italy. Juventus have the chance to claim top spot in Serie A on Sunday, with the leaders Inter Milan contesting the Italian Super Cup, while Roma idol Daniele De Rossi takes the reins at his boyhood club.
All right, so tough one this weekend for Roma. So they play against Verona. They're a struggling side, but the way that Jose Mourinho was fired, the way that the team sounds like it's in disarray right now, is going to be a tough one for them. So they have the issues off the pitch, they have the issues in the locker room, and now they have to sort out getting the results on the pitch. So there's so much pressure right now for De Rossi, because he's taking a club that is in turmoil. And he's going to have to find a way to deliver the results. So tough one for them. But for Juventus, they're looking to build a gap at the top of the table before Inter Milan come back from Saudi Arabia, where they are participating in the Super Cup. And so this weekend presents the opportunity, first of all, to win and get to the top of the table, and then by the time they play their next match, and if they should win that, they'd open a 4-point gap at the top of the table. So they're looking to take advantage of that. Also from Italy, we go to England, where the Premier League is still on. Like I said, contrary to popular opinion, Liverpool is playing against Wolves this weekend. Liverpool playing against Wolves this weekend. Liverpool playing this weekend though. Arsenal play against Crystal Palace in the London derby, and Arsenal desperately in need of some form right now. Like I said, it's not good to be an elephant. The former elephant on top of the tree is looking to climb back up, and they face a tough task in Crystal Palace. Hopefully, Mikel Arteta will find a way to get the results that Arsenal so desperately needs. And on that note, we take a few messages and we round up in the locker room.
Emeka Onelum's message is waiting, and he says, the Ivorians came at us with every arsenal in their disposal after we scored our goal, only to jam our midfield, our field marshal and chief security officer Calvin Bassey in our defense. That guy is like a tank in human form. How Osimhen got man of the match still baffles me. As for Francis Uzoho, I will just advise him to get a seatbelt, because he's going to be on that bench for a long time. Mayowa's message is next I'm looking at, and it says the Ghana match was a punch for punch, especially at the start of the second half. Kudos was magical, but without Salah, Egypt shouldn't be written off. Anyways, they tried, but without a win in AFCON for some time now, Ghana are crying. I see what he did there. So, Tega,
On that note, we say thank you for listening to the locker room. Hopefully, when we come back on Monday, your team will not be fodder for banter. On that note, aspire to Maguire.